Hey, and welcome back. It's Joe from Movie Dumpster for Fresh Picks, our side show where we talk about new and old physical media, interview genre artists and creators, and have catch-all deep dives into movie-related ephemera. Today, we're joined by legendary production designer Mick Strawn. With a career spanning 4 decades in film and television, Mick has tackled projects on miniatures, pyrotechnics, prop work, and even special effects. From the quaint little town of Grover's Bend to the dark depths of Freddy's dream world, Hercules' journey to the Lost Kingdom, and even supervillain Dr. Doom's castle lair. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Tales from the Dark Side, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Candyman. Mick is responsible for creating incredibly stylish and memorable visuals for some of our favorite genre classics. Earlier this year, he had his directorial debut with co-director Jeremy Brown's Solitude, which is now streaming on Tubi. Mick's newest flick, Pig Hill, from Willy's Wonderland director Kevin Lewis, has been acquired by Cineverse and is coming soon to Screambox. Mick, welcome to the show. It sounds like you're ready to rock, man.
You know what? I come out of the gate. God damn it, that's the way I come. I come out of the goddamn gate.
I just want to say thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to chat. I really appreciate that, man.
You're welcome. Of course, you know, I'm out there trying to push a product.
Sure.
You know,
no, I totally get that. Yeah.
But let's face it, I am the product.
For sure, man. But this was kind of serendipitous only because, we've been talking about Night of the Scarecrow on and off.
This is the greatest thing. I'm looking at your last podcast, and I'm seeing one of the straw. I go, and here's the weirdest thing about it. I had never seen the whole film.
That's crazy, man. I want to talk about that.
Well,
Did you watch the link I sent you?
I did. I watched the whole goddamn thing. I was so excited. Yeah. You know, I have to tell you the weird thing though is that that film was not even easy to find when it first came out.
That's what we were talking about on the show because I'm a video store kid. I'm a big horror guy, clearly, right. And I had never seen it in the store.
It wasn't like it came to your local video store, and I think it literally showed like a couple of times on like some offbeat cable channel or something like that, and then boom, gone. Right?
Yeah. Well, there was I was reading into it, and there was only 12,000 copies purchased and put into video stores. So. Right. I had never even heard of it, and I had buddies on the other side of the states and just randos that had found it at flea markets and stuff, and I had never saw it, and I'm like, I love Jeff Burr, and I love all his films. How did I never hear of this?
Right, it was the weirdest thing, and the thing is it isn't like that there was a party at the end of it. It isn't like it, you know. It just went completely into obscurity. And I'm also going to confess that there's been a few things that I've made that I just never saw and there is a thing about that is if you're as busy as I was in the business, the chances are there's going to be a huge gap of films that I worked on, but things that people keep going, you never saw that one? You know, and I go,
yeah, right.
Well, wait, you have to understand, you have to understand, I didn't see Predator until 3 years ago. I mean, yeah, I know. And
Come on.
Look, you have to roll your eyes. I understand. You have to roll your eyes. You son of a
bitch.
Yeah, but, I was, especially in that time, I was a little fucking busy. All right.
For sure. Totally. I mean, when you're jumping show to show, you know what I mean?
Well, you see, the thing is you have to get a mindset for what it was like to work in the business back then. I mean, the hours were incredibly brutal. And the thing is in the LA area, the chances are you're going to spend an awful lot of your time on the freeway. I mean, it's like I had a family and I wasn't going to keep my family in the areas that I filmed in.
Sure.
I mean, let's be technical about that. I spend most of my time on the freeway getting to the job, and then I would get to the job before it was light, and I would leave in the wee hours of the morning, and that didn't leave much time for dick.
No.
So, and I love the place that you have. Yeah, I love.
Oh, thanks.
I love the projection, the look of it and stuff. I am, as you see, I am sporting a beat the fuck up 2010 Sonata.
Well, it's beautiful. It's your Moonlight Sonata now.
That was good. I like that. I'm gonna remember that. This is my Moonlight Sonata. Yeah, you little shit. No, I like that.
So, for people who don't know what a production designer is, can you please enlighten us about some of the duties and why they're so crucial to film productions?
Well, let's see. You know what? I'm going to explain it this way because this is the only way that I can give you a hint of what it is, and explain it to everybody. If you have seen Batman, then you know a production designer put that show together because absolutely everything was completely manipulated, right? Because, and the thing is that makes sense because it's Batman and somebody had to go build Gotham and they had to build all that sneaky, great little shit that he plays with in the woo car and all the rest of that. You have to understand that there was design involved in that, and it's pretty obvious, right? Here's the thing. Not everything is super obvious on other films, but they are still completely designed,
100%, yeah.
And I mean, to talk to people and to talk to new designers and try and explain to them that there is another color for a bedroom other than off-white.
Right.
For instance, I'm not going in with a deep dive there. I'm just going to start right there. The lighting, the production designer has the overall, I mean, the things that we're directly connected with are, and every show is a little bit different and every production designer is a little bit different. But I mean, we build the sets, we modify the locations, and we pick the locations, and we have, those are kind of like direct, but also there's props and, the props, there's special and special effects. Oddly enough, I mean, production designers, especially myself, know a lot about special effects and we'll be picking how the special effects look. And then there's also wardrobe, and some production designers are very strong in that, come from a background in wardrobe.
And you work very closely with them, all different facets. Yeah.
Well, you work very closely, and a lot of them come from wardrobe, and I mean, my background is more in sets and painting and that kind of thing, and scenic painting. All those things are controlled by the production designer. And to get into like all the stuff that you consider as a production designer and how to break the script down and stuff. And it basically kind of comes down to this. There's a reason that I'm at the beginning of a film, and the director of photography and maybe the visual effects people, although I don't know why it's visual effects people nowadays. They get that. I mean,
I'm a big practical guy, but I also do visual effects too. So like, I get that depending on what they do for the movie.
Well, you don't admit to me that you do visual effects. That you do visual effects because
that's what digital is now. Yeah.
Because we always thought the visual effects people were the fucking snooty little dickheads, but.
I hope I'm not a snooty dickhead.
I mean, just technically.
Yeah, okay. Overall.
the visual effects person is the one that comes in. Well, it doesn't work like that. And you go, well, so I don't have to say fuck you. You say fuck you, right? Is that how this works? Anyway.
Oh man, I've been in that position before. So I get it. I get it on both sides.
But the production designer is the one that pulls all this, and to tell you the truth, one of the other jobs for the production for me as a production designer is corralling all the effects and like if you're working on something like a Nightmare on Elm Street 4, you're working with all the effects people. We hired the whole goddamn town because we needed to get it done quick. And we started filming in like, February, and it was released in August. And this was back in the days of actual film, right? So the way that we did that is we went out and had everybody in town, and I had to go wrangle all of them.
And so you were responsible for gathering up John Buechler and Screamer Mad George and Steve Johnson and everybody.
Oh, absolutely. John Buechler. I was trying to think of his name the other day.
He's one of my favorites, man. He's my idol.
Yeah, I loved him. I got to tell you, John was the sweetest guy. And he was that guy that you went to when you were all the way up against the wall and the guy had a knife. I mean, John was the one and you went, oh, dude, do you have something sitting in your shop right now? Sitting in your shop right now that we could slap a little latex on and make it look like that and call it a day. And John would be, God damn, he'd be standing next to you. All of a sudden he'd be standing next to you. You go, well, I just called you. How did you do that? He's that kind of, he was that kind of guy. He was just the sweetest guy. And then and the funny thing is, he was not particularly a specialist. He was kind of like the guy that knew a little bit about all of it, right? And then you called in the fucking nutsos, right? The Steve, you had your fucking nutsos like Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson, he was the guy who like dealt with proportion, right? He would fuck your head with proportion. He would like, this shot's going to be a body, going to be a body that's 14 stories high and people coming out and then this is a miniature and then this is okay, Steve, just keep it down and stop doing so much coke. And then you would go like, and then you would get like, George Takani. Screaming at George. Oh my God. Screaming George. He was a case like I had to keep going down to his shop and he'd come through and he would kind of like pretend that he didn't know English at all. And like go around like, you're
kidding me. He would fuck with you like that?
Oh, fuck. So, just loved. He just thought just try your patience. Just.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh God. Yeah, it was, and we were all fucking characters. I mean, me as much as anybody else,
that must have been a crazy set with Steve and all them on that set. You guys
God.
must have been having a great time or crazy time, one or the other.
What's crazy? But it's all those things. Just intense. It was intense because, the thing is you could be, I'll tell you a little story. This is, you might have guessed that I have a story or two.
Oh, maybe, possibly.
So there's this one night we had to supply the goo for the cockroaches to which was, we had built the big, I designed, this whole sequence going through the attic and the attic was like 120 feet long and it went all the way from 6 feet high to 30 feet high. And there was, it was filmed wrong, but anyway, and we had rear screen projection, actual old fashioned rear screen projection, where you adjust the speed and all of a sudden it comes from the slot and bigger and bigger. And they're
So
letting
cool.
me, the idea was that we were going to use methocel. And I said, no, we want to do better than that. So what's new in the market? Well, there's ultraslime. And I was like, oh, ultraslime. Oh, that'd be great. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's like, $75 a gallon. And I go, okay, well, give us 50 gallons of it. It's like, so we had a fucking $10,000, shipping and everything, get it sent from Florida where they made it. And so we had 50 gallons of it, and it gets on the stage the afternoon that we're going to do it the next day. We're going to film the next day.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, okay, we made it. Okay.
Yeah.
We can beat it. Of course, it's like as you're gathering your shit, right?
Yep.
And going, oh my God, we gotta get it. And then
are we good?
You're just fucking happy when all the materials are in the same physical building that you are, right? And so, yeah, you know that. So we had the 50 gallons and and then we had that crazy, we have to find a bunch of, dye to, basic food coloring to like, and, we couldn't find the quantities that we needed. And finally at 3:00 in the morning, I've got it all together, and I've got a 50-gallon drum, and we're going to mix the color down. And so I take all the fluid in, and I'm getting that weird little orange color that I wanted, right? And and I leave it to a PA. I say, this is what we have to do. And we have basically a drywall mixer, big drill, because it's 50 gallons. We had this big drill, and and you know what ultra slime is like, right?
Yes.
Ultra slime is like, it follows its own rules.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. And when you have 50 gallons of it, it's not only following it, it's become its own universe with its own rules.
I couldn't imagine working with that much.
It's weird fucking shit to use in a pint, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But 50, it's like the, where it says on the side, it says, don't open this unless you have scissors standing by, right? It literally says that in the instructions, right? So I go, so we open it up, and that was a treat just all by itself. That should have been the education that I took, but I didn't, because I was fucking busy, I had tomorrow's set in my office that I had to finish, and it's 3:00 in the morning. And so I leave the PA in there, and he's got this whip that's 4 feet long, right? And the big, huge Milwaukee drill. And it's one of the ones that is geared so that when you turn it on, it doesn't wind down immediately. It goes,
yeah.
And then you let go of it, and it goes,
Gotcha.
So I go back to my office to start drawing. I just get around my desk. I just got around to my drawing table. All of a sudden I hear this screaming coming from where I was. And I was like, fuck. And I go back into this little room, and there is this PA that is trying to breathe, because he's got all 50 fucking gallons climbed up, out, and enveloped his head, right?
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, and I spend the next 5 minutes just trying to keep his mouth clear, right? Because literally, it sounds
insane.
It sounds funny, but you're like, oh, dude, this guy could die. And so, so I get out there like this, and finally I yell loud enough to bring somebody else in. And of course, a stage at 3:00 in the morning in LA is always got somebody else there. I mean,
Sure.
you're just never going to be alone. And finally somebody comes down, and they hold his mouth open. They clear it away from his mouth long enough for me to get a big piece of plastic. Because at the same time, I'm thinking 10,000 fucking bucks, right? And it
Scooping it in
shoots
the
in
thing.
like 6 hours. Fuck me. And so so then we spend the rest of the night from 6:30 until dawn. From 3:30 until dawn scraping this motherfucking PA down, right? And we like little pieces of cardboard and like it's like and I'm trying to keep track of the cardboard and get it out of the and all at the same time, we're mixing this, we're doing it. It was the most loony fucking thing. And when that guy gets up and when he finally gets clear, he just walks out the door and never saw him again in my life.
Oh my God. Well, that must have been a crazy experience for him. Like not only being embarrassed by what he did, but like almost like dying.
Massive. Had to be so massively freaked out, right?
Oh yeah.
It's oh my God. So and then it goes on and it becomes that shot, right? Because then we're carrying that plastic out to the set and like
me and my wife just watched the 4K the other night. So now I'm like playing this back in my head and I'm like, holy shit, like it's totally new context to that scene.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're like, oh fuck, yeah. Boy, that could be some fucked up shit. I gotta tell you.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, but that's what it's that it is. Filming in general is just it's first of all, most filming at most times there is like a minor felony being committed while you're doing it.
Sure.
Especially in LA, us, but I like to call them professional felonies.
There's a lot of iconic church sequences in a lot of shows that you worked on. So like Nightmare 4, of course, the ending of that, Critters 2 with the sheriff coming through the window. Yeah. And now the Scarecrow, of course, that great scene with Glover in the church.
Right.
So is that a Mick Strawn Hallmark? Like, is that something that you did?
Not intentionally. But I can see where you would think that.
Yeah, because it's popped up throughout most of your filmography. So I was like, I wonder if Mick's putting those in there.
That has never specifically been brought to my attention. I mean, I'm known for a lot of weird shit. But nobody. But you know what? Let me think about this for a minute because you're right. Critters has got of course. Dan, well.
I told you I love you. I told you I love your work, dude.
Obviously, I'm not religious.
Sure. Wait a second. You mean putting a scarecrow on a cross in the middle of the church?
How could that possibly be a problem? I was going to hell way before that, buddy.
Oh man, that's so funny. I would be remiss. We're gonna get to Night of the Scarecrow in 1 second. I just got a couple more questions for you. I really want to talk about the Fantastic Four, Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I apologize, but I haven't seen it. There's a documentary about the making of that movie. Were you involved in that at all?
I wasn't. Okay. In fact, you know what? The weird thing is I wasn't involved in the documentary of the Nightmare series. I kind of got blocked by my sister because they contacted her first. And it all had to do with who you contacted first. And the fact is, Rachel Talalay said this when I mentioned it, because Rachel's a really good friend of mine. And I mentioned to her, I said, it's so weird that my sister, of all things, as they made that film, right? They contacted her before they contacted me, and she and I were like kind of having an argument. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
And I got really mad at her when I found out that the series was about Nightmare on Elm Street 4 or Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, I was the one that got that show and brought you on, and she got. Anyway, we got really mad at her and she died that night in a plane accident. So, it's like, it presents all kinds of weirdness. But then almost immediately after that, because there was a time there where like everybody was trying to do a little documentary about horror films, and I found out that the Fantastic Four had come out, but they never thought back then they wouldn't have thought of the production designer that much, you know? I mean, those guys were all kids that put that together. And I know that they'll hate me for saying that now, but I'm almost 100% sure that neither one of them knew which side of the production designer you put the dick on.
I wanted to ask you about it because we had done Carnosaur not too long ago, and I had found out that a lot of the sets from the Fantastic Four were reused for Carnosaur.
Yes, they were the next ones coming up. And I did a lot of the work on that. Because that was Peter's job, and Peter and I were friends that went way, 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 way back. And he was always my storyboard artist.
Did you have any idea that, I mean, because we're coming off Batman in 89, and like, you know, this Fantastic Four movie's coming out in 93, I believe it comes out. So I guess you're working on it in like 92.
Yeah.
So did you know that it was just like Corman was just doing it to keep the rights, and then it was going to get shelved?
I knew all of it because I had to. I mean, I had to know everything that was going on with that. In the end, though,
it's a great movie, by the way.
He grabbed. See, and it looks so different from all the other Marvels. Specifically because, A, we had no money. I swear to God, Corman turned around and said, yeah, no, we made it for $1 million. And the thing is Corman didn't spend more than $10,000 on anything in his motherfucking life. And the only way that I even got the look that I did out of it was by going in. I shouldn't admit this because this is criminal. I went in and found out what his accounting codes were, and I found out that they were sequential. In other words, he would take a film. He did so many fucking movies that what he would do is he would have another film come in and like they would be done in 4 days, right? Bam, 4 days, one right after that. Boom, ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. But accounting wise, then he did them this way. This is film 101. This is film 102. This is film 103. This is film 104. This is film 105. On and on down the line. So what we did is we got a copy of the PO book, and we just started writing our own POs and assign. And what we would do is we would just assign them numerically to every show. We would assign like $500 to every show that came along, right? And so I mean, he probably had maybe 20 shows that, you know, a mysterious $500 came along, but he fucking had no idea where it came from, you know? So,
yeah.
So, and we still didn't spend any money, you know, we just, it was just really, really poor. But we had this dickheaded, this guy who was supposed to be, doing, special effects. And he said, no, he says, look, I'm going to take care of everything. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. But the thing is I've heard that before. And I was like, yeah, you explain to me how you're going to do that, right? And I said, do you need registration points? Do you need, what kind of cameras should we be shooting with? No, it doesn't matter. This is digital. Digital is wonderful. I'm like, okay, that's a lie. You know,
because I didn't know what the hell he's talking about.
I had no fucking idea. And I go, you know, I've worked with real people like that actually know what they're doing, and you are not one of them. And I told him, the friction between him and me was spectacular. Oof. I mean, he was such a goofball. And so I said, how about the extensions of the sets? And you know, every set, you know, like the as an example, the Ray, the Doom's Castle, right? Doom's Castle, we only did a slot of it, and then we were going to make it taller. And then, Mole Man's Lair, we did the top of it and we were going to do the bottom of it, as he said, as an optical. So as things went along, I just started making things in my garage.
That's crazy. It looks awesome, dude. Like, I really wish we can get like a Blu-ray version of it. Like, that would be incredible.
I would love a fan to go in and redo the shitty optical effects that they eventually wound up with. But I did I did the ship, the ship that goes into space, and even the little satellite tracker. I was the second unit director on it, and I operated the satellite tracker by taking a car jack and releasing it, and it goes down and spins down like that, and it was just following the top of the car jack down, right?
That's so cool, though, man. That's awesome. I know, yeah, and you did like a bunch of miniatures for it too, right?
Yeah, I did all the miniatures. I did all the miniatures for it. It wasn't supposed to. He was going to do all that shit, but the thing is if he wanted to do,
I'm starting to see why you don't like VFX, guys.
see what I'm saying? But also have another story with a visual effects guy that's sometimes as bad, The guy, sure. the guy on Fantastic on Nightmare on Elm Street 4. I guess 4 is like a key here to everything. 4. So Nightmare on Elm Street 4. When Kincaid is standing there, right, and the world starts to, he spins around and everything becomes the world, right? Well, I had storyboards for that built it up until eventually it becomes the world, right? But that's not what they gave me. The visual effects people gave me, they came up we came up as much as we could, which was, I think that we had a Condor that went 120 feet. So that was the start, we spun the camera and we did a Mitchell head and blah, 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 blah. And we give that and we say, and he's got a model that's built off of my model of the cars, because I built the actual set off of a model that I had built and then put 300 cars in it. And then
it's incredible, that set.
Yeah. So then that is a set, right? It was actually done outdoors, but basically it was really specifically, it was specifically stacked. It had all these, effects with the lights and the cars
all the lights
out,
are coming out.
All that,
so cool.
All that, all that was done with Peter Chesney, my good friend. And so then we were going to spin the head, and then the idea was that they were going to take the head and they were going to spin it into a planet, right? And so we get it back from them about 2 weeks later after we shot, the plates and stuff, and we get it back from him, and it just looks like they came up maybe about 200 feet or something like that. And I was like,
it looks like a planet of cars when it pulls out.
Oh yeah. But that's not what it used to look. It came up about 200 feet. And I was like, guys, I don't think you understand. This has got to be a world. And so then they say, okay, we understand, but we don't have any money in the budget for it. So, well, you know what? You could have just come to me, because I'm going to be so fucking over budget that it just doesn't even matter. I can drop you 15,000, just put it in my petty cash at this point. And so I did. And then it comes up another 200 feet. And finally, I went down to, they had, like one stage after the other that was shooting all kinds of shit down in, Simi Valley. And I go up to Simi Valley and I go into Hoyt's, I think his name was Hoyt. This is just my visual effects experience with visual effects people.
Sure.
I'm not sure that I loved Hoyt. Especially after the second time that I gave him $15,000.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure that I was loving him. And I showed up at his office, and I grabbed a magic marker off of his desk and started to say, Hoyt, let me show you something. Hoyt, you see this? And then right in his desk, inclusive of whatever was sitting on his desk at that time, I drew a circle with a Sharpie. I said, see that right there? That's a motherfucking circle, guy. And then I started just drawing them on the walls. I draw them. I said, these are motherfucking reminders. So you know what the fuck it is. And I did the draw. And when I left, he had circles on his file cabinets. He had circles on the... I think I actually drew it on the glass. And then in the middle of this tirade, he goes, Mick. Dude, you don't understand. And I go, enlighten me. And he goes, the thing is, if you took a rocket and you started to pull away from the Earth, do you have any idea how long it would take you before you see the whole world? And I went, are you fucking arguing fucking physics with me? Are you seriously trying to argue physics in the middle of a motherfucking Freddy film? You gotta be out of your fucking mind. Just fucking do it. I'll give you another $20,000, but I want to fucking see some goddamn circles.
And that's what we did.
And he got all kinds of credit for it. Oh, that was a great optical. I go, yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
What a dick. That's fucked up, man.
So
so funny.
That's been my experience with visual effects people. I
don't hold it against you at all. I totally get that.
I mean, I've never been able to stand people who look down on me as I'm outperforming them.
Right in front of their faces and everybody else.
Right in front of their fucking faces. Yeah. Right.
So, Night of the Scarecrow, we're coming back to it 30 years. And you said in the beginning that you hadn't seen this film, like many other projects that you haven't, because you hadn't seen Predator for somehow. But, I sent you over. I was able to get a Blu-ray cut of it, and I sent it over to you. So tell me about it, man. What was your initial thoughts when you first gave it a spin?
As it started out, I thought, wow, there was this feeling that was a deeply dark Hallmark movie.
Kind of, right? A little bit.
But
it's cozy, though.
It's like if you took a Hallmark movie and you dipped it in ink, and pull it back out. And then it gets weird, and then it gets really fucking weird. And you go, my God. And I'm looking at the credits going by, and I'm going, my God, I don't remember a fucking thing about this film. I'll tell you a story, though, is the Kristen Carr Strube, who was our PM, production manager, and we all landed in Hanford, California, right? Which is, you may guess that's an area where they grow corn. Corn.
The fictional real place of Hanford, California.
Actual place was corn, right? And so we land there, and and I brought up immediately the question. I said, what I want to know is this: I want to know how far can I see in corn? I said, that's, you got to answer me that before I'm going to know how we're going to play any of this. And so we get in a van and we go out to the nearest cornfield. I mean, there wasn't very far away, I tell you that. We went to the nearest cornfield, and everybody plows out of the van and just heads into the corn. And I mean, we were such fucking morons because immediately, 3 of the 7 people that we had got lost. Immediately.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's eventually I don't like out there trying to wrangle people around, but Kristen, she and I were walking together, and we walk in about probably 15 or 20 feet, and she turns around to me to say, well, what do you think? And I look at her, and her face is like this big, and her eyes are like swole shut. Just as I was looking at her, I went, fuck, I think we have a problem here.
Oh
And
no!
we had to rush her immediately to the hospital.
She's allergic to the corn?
Allergic to corn.
Oh my god! How did she not know that?
Well, she found out. Let's put it that way. I mean, how often does somebody from LA, intersect corn? You know,
I guess she could eat the corn, like regular corn,
Yeah,
but not
yeah,
like
but-
the like
well-
the yeah.
Oh, try. The thing is, there is the amount of like just stuff in the air in a corn
the
field.
pollen and all that shit.
Pollen is just huge, right? And so then she worked on that film. Literally, we we set up. There wasn't a lot of office space in Hanford at the time in order to, do anything. So we eventually just settled into the local bar.
Is it the same bar that you shot at?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there you go, man.
That was literally. If you'd gone through the double door, that was her office right there.
That's so awesome.
She never fucking left there. I'll tell you, she was scared to death.
So there's not a whole lot of behind the scenes on this movie. So I really appreciate you coming on and talking about it.
Well, you see I remember the other interesting thing was you remember the bulldozer going through the corner, right? And you look and you see
John
back of
Hawks
it,
is driving through. Yeah,
right. Well, there's also another scene in there. I don't know if it actually made it into the film. I don't remember seeing it, but where we also had a harvester just go into the corn, going away from us, right? And so when we did that, we would just let it go, because we didn't want to see anybody up in the cab, right? So we would let it go, and then somebody jump onto the back of it and stop it, right? Because they have throttle governors, right? And so you just take the governor and start up, and away it goes, right? But when we had the bulldozer, so transportation does the same thing with the bulldozer. The only thing is, and you can go back and you can check this, it's really hard to jump on the back of a bulldozer because you know what's there? It's the treads going around like this. And the thing is these are one-shot things because literally the corner is just opening up right in front of the tractor,
and that's
right?
it. Yeah, once it's gone, that's it.
That motherfucking thing went for a quarter of a mile without us running fucking after it. Going, God damn it! And then we would catch. I said, "Yeah, you can catch it, but what the fuck are you gonna do with it? Because I'm not gonna try and get up on it with the fucking treads right there." And finally, I think one of the stuntmen did it because he jumped up and he did this leap onto it and leaped up. I was like, "Oh God,
holy shit, man, that's crazy."
Oh, it was crazy because it worked with the harvester. Why does it work? It should work with us. So when you jumped off, did it occur to you that we couldn't get back onto it?
Oops.
Oops.
So how did you get the show? I mean, I know you did Texas Chainsaw 3 with Jeff. So was that how you got the show? Was he like, hey, Mick, I want you on Night of the Scarecrow?
That's the way everybody. Yeah, no, that's the way. That's the way the business works.
I'm learning that.
Yeah,
as I do more stuff.
It's who you know more than who you blow.
But that's good to know.
I poisoned you, didn't I?
No,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and think it now, son of a bitch.
Fuck. Oh no. So you worked with Dave Miller on this film, and I know that you guys work very closely with special effects guys, and you had mentioned that you didn't want to do any corn related deaths for this movie.
Yes.
So if you want to talk a little bit about that, yeah.
Well, we came up. We were trying not to do typical, and the funny thing is this many years goes by and what am I thinking of as typical? I mean, the thing is there's so many more films now than there used to be, right? So we would all, and at the same time, there was another corn film being done, right? And so the thing we were like monitoring that one. See, and you
letting people know what's going on the set over there. Like, yeah, hey, what are they doing?
But we did that. We did that back then all the time because you know what? You don't. I know it's weird because it's hard to understand how small the business was back then. Is that these are, I mean, there's a group of names, including my own. There's a group of names that you see all the time, right? And we stayed in touch with one another. We didn't want to fucking get out there and have like the same exact effect come up on two. And there was another Corn one that was, they were doing a little bit of just the pure Corn shit, right? And so we had weirder things happen. I'll tell you one thing for sure. When we made the Corn head, the one thing I said, I don't want it to look, I want it to look more like an actual Scarecrow, which
it's
is
great. The design is awesome.
Because I wanted, everybody kept coming around with the pure button eyes and stuff like that. I said, no, I want everything to be a little skewed. I want it to be more lumpy. I don't want the head to look exactly like a man's head. I mean, it's like, I said, I'm fine if you put it together and then we beat the fuck out of it for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes like that, and that's what we got, it's like, to me, the thing that I loved was the mouth.
Yeah, oh my
God. Because the mouth doesn't even look it doesn't look like it came from this planet except for possibly hell.
Dude, the animatronic version of the head is fucking nightmare fuel. Okay?
Right.
When that thing is laughing, it is creepy as hell.
Oh yeah, right. And the thing is that's what we were trying for. We were trying to, Jeff was with me on this, it's just gotta be so fucking weird. I don't want the mouth. God. I don't want the mouth to open up and you go, oh, it's the smiley. All I could remember is at that time, there was a cutout that everybody used all of the 80s, which was the happy Corn guy,
Yeah.
I mean, they still got that fucking illustration today, right? The kids' Corn. Yeah, I said it's got to be so far away from that. It's like when because he's going to be a weird fucking looking dude as it is, but when he opens his mouth, man, it's gotta look like it's come from hell. Like, wah!
Yeah, oh man, it is so good. And even whose idea was it to make him have the seed come out of his finger and plant it inside of people?
Yeah, that
shit's crazy. I love that.
That whole that was, and the idea of things coming in and I remember specifically where one of the ideas came from was I said, yeah, you know what? I want you to go back to prison. The film prison.
Yeah.
I said, if there is nothing that's right on that film except when the vines start to attack the prisoners, that's the thing that works. We're going to go back and we're going to blow that up. We're going to make that literally the inside of it is like all those vines. And so we're going to do all the reverse pulls and stuff like that with it.
I love that. I love that was a big inspiration for you guys to like a jump off point. That is so cool.
And then we had big explosions and shit like that. We just had a fucking great time. It surprised me. It's a damn nice looking little film, and really the effects in general were just superior. They did a great job.
It blew me away when I first saw it. I had just saw this movie in the past year, and I don't know how it got away from me, but watching it, it was like, man, I love this so much. And that Blu-ray is out of print, so it really needs some love by one of the new Blu-ray companies. I need a 4K of Night of the Scarecrow.
Exactly. Really that and Fantastic Four.
Oh my God, that would be so great.
So you brought up two of my weirdest films, didn't you?
I did.
Fucker.
Oh, you know what? What I really love too. I'm a huge fan of the Kindred, and I know that you did some pyro stuff on that.
The Kindred was great.
Dude, I love that movie so much.
I have to tell you, my experience was working with Tasselbauer, and Tasselbauer back then when we did Lightning. Lightning, literally what you did is you got a welder. And in the middle of all the water coming down, you got to try this sometimes because you'll fucking try it once and you go, well, is that like the most dangerous thing in the world or what? And what you do is you have water coming down everywhere, right? And then so you're standing here in your yellow thing, and Tazo's this big, enormous, Germanic, blonde-headed, just huge human being, and he's got standing out here in his yellow, the world's biggest yellow raincoat, right? And he's got a welder, and basically what you do is you take a 220 welder, right? One of the old stick ones, right? And you put a carbon rod in both of the connections, right? You put carbon rods in both, and then you hold them up over your head, and you go,
and you just put them together.
No, I'm not kidding. That's the way we used to do light. Dude, you should try it. So you should try it.
It's the only way to get that effect, right?
It will connect you. It will and then you'll go, oh fuck! I mean, I am the god of lightning.
Oh, come on. Mick Strawn told me to do this.
Right.
Okay, you're fucking fired. Get out of here.
So, kids, don't try.
Don't do that.
Don't try this in your garage.
What was your favorite piece that you can remember working on, set piece for Night of the Scarecrow, and what was the hardest one?
I love the stone. I remember that God, I can't remember who the producer's name was. There's Kristen, and there was another guy that was on set that was the first AD, and he was kind of ignorable. And I just remember him saying how much he wanted to make sure that the stone that we carried, was a real stone because he wanted it to look right. And it was fantastic because I was like, okay, I got you. And I says, but I went out because I knew this, right? But this is one of these guys that you really have to convince of it. And finally, I dragged him down to a stone. The people that make the
big slabs and everything.
Yeah, the stones, right? The headstones and all that. And I said, so here's what we're talking about. We're talking about 6 foot long, probably at least 3 feet wide, right? Like that. So let's, and what, we want to have it like 4 inches thick? I said, okay, well, there's one over there. You just go over there and you just move that. Go ahead. Just move it. And that guy, and I got to hand it to him. I mean, the thing is he's like, the thing's got to look real. This has got to be real. And I was like, be my guest. This guy went over there and just about fucking threw his back out and a hernia and everything else. And I sort of got, he didn't move it a millimeter. I mean, he was literally in his defense. He was trying to move an 800-pound block of stone.
Holy shit, dude.
It's like, I said, yeah, see, that's why there's a budget. That's why there's a budget line item that says stone.
Oh, we'll just go pick one up. It's no big deal.
Just go pick one up. Right?
Yeah. Oh, God. Unreal, dude.
But and then the area that was underneath the stone, we actually wound up in Vernon, California, which is just a little tiny pocket of area that you can do absolutely. Vernon means anything in Spanish. Vernon means you can do whatever the fuck you want, evidently. So we built this little area underneath that's got all these cobwebs and everything and stuff. And I really like that. But I mean, most of it was, most of the things we built were stakes of corn. we had corn stakes everywhere. Yeah, because the thing is technically, the one thing that we did learn on the very first day is that you just can't fucking shoot in corn because corn is like solid and it's like you'll be lucky if you're going to see the next row next to you, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, because I would assume you'd have to like plow a whole row if you wanted to like shoot between it and all that kind of stuff. So there's like corn, yeah, and then the camera on one side, actors on the other, or however you're going to do that.
Yeah. It's interesting how corn actually is, how you can get lost in a very short period and stuff like that. And the weird thing is it stands undefeated. It's like the best fucking baseball team you ever went up against because you go out there and you don't see a lot of films with people like traveling through corn, do you?
Not too many.
Yeah, the corn is always right beside them like this, or this is an access road. It's right next to all the corn. We'll go down it. Yeah, because you don't want to go over there because you go 30 feet over there and we'll never find anything or anybody.
Oh man, that's hilarious. With that being said, dude, I know you got some new movies dropping. You got Pig Hill coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have. We have Pig Hill coming out later in the year, and Pig Hill is directed by Kevin Lewis, and Kevin Lewis was it was going to be Jeff Burr, but
really?
Jeff Burr passed
Yeah.
just a little bit after we finished. He was not feeling well enough, and he had a stroke. And so we got Kevin Lewis to come in. Me and R.A. worked on that, and R.A. was Leatherface.
Yep, in part 3. Yep.
So we've been friends for 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very disturbing film. Very, very cool film. It's a film that I say that we started off as a Hallmark movie. It starts off as a Hallmark movie.
Do you dip it in ink?
And then you dip it in ink. Actually, we use colored inks. It gets more and more surreal. It's sort of like the world's darkest tie-dye.
Yeah, dig.
It's one that you're really going to want to see.
I'm really looking forward to checking it out.
Right now, it's actually rated NC-17, and
wow,
I have a feeling it may not make it out of that. I mean, the regular rated R version is going to be about 17 minutes long.
But that's the cool thing about releasing films now too, because like there are places that'll pick it up. You can put it right out. You can even distribute it yourself. Uncut.
Absolutely. So anyway, that's going to be coming out. I have a film out that I directed called Solitude, and Solitude is on Tubi right now. It's a disturbing look at like the Alone show.
Okay.
There's a show that's called Alone. It's sort of like Naked and Afraid with clothes on.
Right.
But you're alone and you're dropped off and basically you hang out with you're actually alone out there and you get to count your calories, and it's actually a contest to see if you're going to die or not. My friend Jeremy Brown co-directed it with me, and he's the kind of guy that asks disturbing questions like, what if we crossed that show over with say a Wendigo?
Oh, nice.
And the thing is and in the process we go in and describe, we have a section of the script that also is explaining to you what a Wendigo is. And it's really interesting. It is a really good film.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out.
It's kind of a slow burn. And in the very end, I have to say the very end has an amazing song in it that just ties everything together. And I know you're not going to understand exactly what that means, but but when you do, you're going to go, oh, fuck, yeah, that's cool. Oh,
Sweet.
fuck, oh, yeah, Jesus, that worked. Yeah, I don't like that. So, now, everybody out there that's listening to this, both of you, go see Solitude. Now it's on Tubi.
Oh, they will, man. I'm telling you, everybody who checks out the show will definitely give it a spin. So that's really
Good.
cool.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm entertaining and all, but you should see some of my work.
So good. Mick, dude, thank you so much for all your time, being generous with your time, and thank you for reaching out and wanting to come on the show.
You're welcome.
I had an absolute blast, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
See, I told you this would be weird, right?
Dude, it was great. It was beyond what I could have expected. It's been a blast, dude, hanging out and talking with you. I feel like I've known you for a long time, so this is...
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, man, this has been really
You've
cool.
been a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
And I like this whole visual in the back. I mean,
thank you, brother. Yeah, this is technically my movie room.
I used to have a really nice office, but it's been taken over by my daughter. That's right.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You got to make your own. You got to make your own thing in the basement, right?
No, it's in my fucking car.
The Moonlight Sonata.
That's the spare room, goddammit, right there.
Well, there you go. You could put some Christmas lights up in there, and you're all good. You get festive.
Yeah, I haven't got the posters up yet, but yeah. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This has been a blast.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much. Sometime,
have me back on, and we'll talk about Boogie Nights.
I would love to.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, no,
whole
for sure.
Other thing.
I would love to do that and maybe talk about like Runaway Train and stuff like that. So that, yeah.
Sounds great. Thanks, man.
If you enjoyed this interview, please hit that like button or hype button or whatever the hell it is. And make sure you go check out Solitude, streaming right now on Tubi. And keep an eye out for Pig Hill coming soon to Screambox. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next Fresh Picks.